Welcome to a tutorial on tiles. In this tutorial I will show you the random output of the Automapping feature. So, I already opened up a map document, example TMX, added a tile set with water elements, with grass, some decoration elements, and also I added some tile layers. The ground layer, which will contain the grass, the fringe layer, which usually contains fringe objects, decorations such as stones or signs, and the collision layer. The collision layer is not being rendered by the game engine, but it is used to know information about the map, such as that the player is not able to walk here. The goal of this tutorial will be to draw this meta tile into the collision layer, to have a boundary which a player is not able to cross, and in the fringe layer the stone and the sign object should be added automatically in a random fashion right here. So what do we do? Okay, I'll add another map in which we will define the automapping rules. I'll add the same tile set, and now what do we want to achieve? Well, in the input collision, that is, whenever in the collision layer there is input, and the input is this tile, this meta tile, we want to have different outputs. So we will add a tile layer output 1 in the fringe layer, which is the stone, and we'll add another tile layer which is output 2 in the fringe layer, which is the sign. Now we just forgot to add a regions layer, which defines where this rule is actually defined, and that is only this tile here. I'll put the region below all other layers so we can still see the icons. Since we want to have different random outputs, we need to choose different names for these tile layers. Both must start with output, since we want to have output. Then there must be an underscore to indicate that after the underscore the name in which the output should be put follows, which is fringe. So we want to have output in the fringe layer, and now the difference we will put before the underscore, which is 1 or 2. Actually, I could rename this one to output sign, and this one to output stone. The name between output and the underscore doesn't matter at all, it just needs to be different since we want to have different random output. Okay, now I save this rule. I'll save it in the same folder as the example TMX. I'll call it rule random this time. The name and the location on the file system doesn't matter. It can be anything. So I'll save it. But the example TMX still does not know which rule to use, so we'll add the rule into the rules.txt file. So I'll open up an explorer. Here we go, in the same directory we have the example TMX, the rule random TMX, and our tile set, and I'll add a new standard text document called rules.txt, and we need to put all the rules in this rules.txt which should be applied, and that is rule random.tmx this time. File, save. Okay. Let's get back to tiled and check if it works. Map, automap. And you see below all the meta tiles in the collision layer, something has happened. We have a random distribution of stones and signs. I can lower the transparency so we can see the stones and signs a bit better. And I'll do automap again, and you see it changed. And it will continue to change whenever we hit automapping. So now I'm able to define a boundary in my map so the player is jailed into one piece of the map. This was the tutorial. Have fun using the automapping feature.